Hello, hello.
All right, welcome everyone. We are so happy to be here today to talk about some hot cheese. It's one of my favorite subjects, but before we get started, just a couple little housekeeping things. Please put any questions or comments in the chat, and we'll save some room at the end for anything that we don't cover over the course of the presentation. And then we'll try to, if there's anything that comes up that seems to be, time sensitive in the middle of the presentation, we will do our best to answer those things as they arise. So we're going to get started. My name is Allison Velasco. I'm the Director of Business Development at Forever Cheese.
And I'm Allie Vogt. I'm a Business Development Manager here at Forever Cheese.
That's right. There are two Allison V's at Forever Cheese,
We're the AV Club.
So if you've ever gotten the wrong one of us by mistake, you are not alone.
It happens a lot.
It happens a lot. We'll make sure that any communication gets to the correct person. We are here, as I said, to talk about one of my favorite subjects of all time. Allie, what is the question that I always ask when we are presented with a new cheese at Forever?
Will it melt?
Will it melt? And how? And what do we mean by melt?
We've all had that really disappointing experience when you want a comforting grilled cheese and it separates into an oily mess, and no one needs that kind of disappointment in today's world. So today we're going to walk you through some of the science behind melting cheese. I'm going to turn that grill down a little bit.
Okay. We've got hot cheese in all directions right now. So we're going to talk about the science of what makes a good melting cheese, and then we're going to eat some. You may be asking yourself, is this just an excuse for Allie and Allison to eat hot cheese and play with fire at work? The answer to that is not no, but hopefully we will also inspire you and your customers with some ideas on how to enjoy some of these, wonderful experiences, and drive some sales, especially in the long, cold, dark winter months.
But first, we're going to start with some science.
Science!
Corey, can you pull up the PowerPoint? Or can everyone see the
PowerPoint? We have a
PowerPoint?
little presentation.
We did some homework.
We're going to try to present some really simplified, approachable, science education on what's happening with our cheese once we start heating them up.
Yes, and as Corey is pulling that up, I believe he sent it in the chat too if you want to open it up on your own. We're going to figure out a way to get it on the big screen. But just a disclaimer, when you apply heat to any cheese, it's going to get soft, but it's not always going to melt in the same way as other cheeses. So if you're looking, when we're saying a good melter today, if you're looking for that ooey, gooey, stretchy cheese or that mozzarella stick cheese pull, that's what we're going to be referencing today. Okay. We are going to roll into some science behind melting cheese. Oh, you heard us. Thank you.
Oh, great. Okay.
Awesome. All right. So, as I was saying, when we're talking about that perfect melt, we're talking about that ooey gooey flow state or that mozzarella stick cheese pull. And there are, a little disclaimer. Between Allison and I, we have a theater degree and a liberal arts degree. We sell cheese. We are not cheese scientists, but we are nerds.
Very, very, very much so. Yes.
So we've done plenty of research here, and we're going to share some of that with you guys today.
We're gonna cite our sources. We're
gonna do it.
Really do it up. All right. So, are you guys seeing the presentation?
Yes.
Right.
All right, Corey, you can go to that next slide. There are 5 key elements that it comes down to for a good melter, and those are moisture, fat, protein structure, the pH level, the acidity, and the age. All 5 of these factors are deeply and literally intertwined in the structure of cheese, so it is kind of impossible to talk about all of them separately. They work together to create a good melter.
Right.
But you can sort of think of cheese at its core level as an emulsification of fat and water in a gel-like structure that is held together by protein scaffolding. We're going to call that, and calcium phosphate bonds. We're going to use the term bonds a lot through the rest of the presentation.
Very bonded here.
Yes. So in general, a higher fat and a higher moisture cheese is going to be a better melter because there's more room in those bonds to get some bend. And we can go to that next one. Allison's going to take it away.
Yep. All right. So in these little pictures that you're seeing here, the big yellow circles, those are representing our fat globules, and the little pink flower shapes are proteins. So in a higher protein lower moisture cheese, like Parmigiano Reggiano or aged Manchego, the proteins are packed really closely together with not a lot of dispersal of the fat within there. And so when the fat gets warm and starts to liquefy, there's just not as much capacity for things to kind of loosen up and bend. Whereas if you have a cheese like that's like the Drunken Goat, raclette, a young Gruyere, that's a little higher fat, higher moisture, the proteins are not as tightly locked together. So when it gets warmed up, there's a lot more potential for things to move around and get ooey gooey.
Yes, and this brings us to the next factor that is arguably the most important when it comes to cheese melting, and that's your pH level or your acidity. And I say most important because the acidity is really what affects that structure of the bonds within the cheese. So there is a sweet spot for cheese, and a pH around 5.3, 5.8, sort of in the middle there. You'll find a lot of your classic melters, like all of the cheese or a lot of the cheeses that we have in front of us. When the cheese gets too acidic, when it falls under 5.1, think a cheese like cottage cheese or feta, which does have high moisture and high fat, these bonds will break down too much. And instead of melting into a smooth melt, it's more schmeary, a little runny. It's not quite what you're looking for.
It's no longer stretchy. It actually, those bonds break down so much that it basically disintegrates.
Yeah.
And then if you go too far in the other direction on the alkaline side of things, basically above a pH of about 6, the proteins lock together even tighter, and so nothing is happening. Water will come out, fat will come out, but you'll end up with like still a very firm mass of the cheese protein, so you don't get that stretch.
Like a halloumi or a bread cheese. Right. All right, so, the last factor here.
The last factor is age, and I think it's important to remember that when we're talking about age, we're not just talking about moisture, because all cheeses are going to lose some level of moisture as they're aging, unless they're like packed tightly in plastic or a heavy coating of wax. But so that's, that falls in more of the moisture side of what we're talking about. What's actually happening with age is that the proteins are forming tighter and tighter bonds. They can't hold the suspension anymore. That's why you'll see, like if you have a aged sheep smoked cheese out at room temperature, it's going to sweat. All that stuff is coming to the surface. But the other thing that's happening is that there's enzymatic and microbial activity that's breaking down the proteins themselves, and that can actually make the cheese melt easier, but it also makes it very easy for it to come out of suspension. So this works in our favor for something like a Gruyere, and we're going to get into a little bit about what we do to control that. But essentially, I think the key takeaway here is that any cheese will melt to some degree when you get it hot. You just have to pick the most appropriate cheese for what it is you're trying to achieve. And we have quite a variety of things here to share with you that demonstrate some of those effects.
Yeah. So we're going to switch the camera. We're going to get rid of that PowerPoint so you can see us on the full screen. And we're going to start with grilled cheese.
Grilled cheese. All right. So this was really fun. So we grilled up a beautiful Drunken Goat and our blackberry rosemary compote. That's down here. You guys can see it comes in the mini format, and this is also in our mini jams trio.
Show you a close-up of that jam there for you.
Wow, it smells wonderful. That's really
Super
punching
fruity.
up. So it's punching up the fruitiness of the Drunken Goat.
Yep.
I think a lot of people don't expect Drunken Goat to melt.
Yeah. I didn't think of it as a melter.
Right. You think of it as like, this is a star of your cheese board, but it actually works really nicely in a grilled cheese or in other culinary applications. So
yes, we are going to make you watch us eat.
That's a winner. But as you can see, it's gotten kind of like, can I see there? It's gotten stretchy, a little bit custardy. Very different from just the slices. I'm going to put it down right there.
Yeah. And then we also made a pretty classic toast, if you will. We have some taleggio on some sourdough bread here. When we're off camera, we're going to pair that with some Casaforcello red onion confiture.
I think we're going to do it right now.
Oh, we are. And this is playing up on the savory, brothy notes. There's a little bit of sweetness from the compote. Taleggio is definitely one of those classic melters. It's something you think of for a pizza application. Here, take that bite.
Thank you.
You're so welcome.
Yep.
I'm going to save my bite for later, but I am going to eat that whole thing.
Absolutely shameless. Can't tell me nothing.
All right, and then we have a raclette grill set up over here, and this is going to show you some of those elements that we were talking about in action here.
Right.
So starting with our woolly fresh sheep's milk log, this is just the plain flavor. This is an example of one of those higher moisture, younger cheeses that is incredibly high in acidity. So what's happening here is while it's softening and it's separating, what it is a bit more schmeary, a bit more runny. It doesn't have that smooth sauce that you would expect from some other cheeses.
And it's almost started to toast at the edges a little bit too.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then on the other end of the spectrum here.
Right. On the other end of the spectrum, we have the Baylor Gruyere, which is an 18-month aged Gruyere. And I'm going to use my little raclette scraper here to show you what's going on. So this is an 18-month aged Gruyere, and this is a really wonderful eating cheese, I would say. This is a great cheese, word cheese. But when we put it on the raclette grill, it's turned basically into a little like crisp, and the oil has come out because all of those proteins have just clumped up, and they've had a little bit of a Maillard reaction and turned brown. And I mean, I definitely want to eat that, but I would not say that this is a good melting cheese per se.
But it is great to use with other ingredients. It's actually one of my favorite cooking cheeses in like a cheesy scalloped potato dish.
Yeah, so then we also have more of a classic raclette here. This is the white wine raclette. I'm going to stick a potato chip in it.
Yeah, I want one of those too.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Beautiful.
Mm-hmm. So that's held on to its, structure a little better.
But it's smoother.
Right.
It's a little looser.
And similarly, we also did this with the Swiss Lady, which you can see our wheel here. So this is a fairly young cheese from Switzerland that's made by a producer who also makes Tilsiter. So it has some of that kind of characteristic funk, but it's otherwise very approachable and melts really beautifully. Let's see if you can get some of that stretch.
Oh yeah, that gorgeous cheese pull.
Look at it.
Shout out to those protein buns.
So good. So a lot of different behaviors here from, things that essentially have the same base ingredients, right?
Yeah. And then we have another younger cheese. We have our Asiago Fresco. This is a classic pizza cheese. It melts really beautifully. We shredded it, so it's a bit hard to tell. Let me pull the other camera up. But it looks like pizza, where you still have the shreds, but it's melting, it's stretching.
It's melting, it's stretching, it's toasting a little bit. This is a great cheese for most culinary applications.
Yes.
And it's very mild, too, so it's a good sort of foundation to work with.
Also, this is Allison's personal party clet, and I just want to shout out that she owns I actually own one, too.
I am devoted. I am devoted. Like, I'm not messing around, okay? This is a little candle-powered machine, and it is the perfect size for two people who want to have a nice melty cheese dinner after their toddler has gone to bed.
Yes, or one person, just in their apartment.
Or one person who really wants to enjoy some cheese.
All right, moving on to our last hot cheese experiment today. We have Allison's masterclass in fondue.
Well, you've really talked it up now, so I hope that this emulsion has not broken while we've been talking about it.
I believe in you.
Okay, great. So this is our take on a 50-50 moitié-moitié fondue, which is classically made with Gruyere and Vacherin Fribourgeois. Instead of the Vacherin, we subbed in Hoch Ibrig, which is here, which is another beautiful Alpine-style cheese. This one is made in a very similar way to a Gruyere starting out, but it's washed with a local cider as it's aging, which really complements the oniony notes in the cheese with some really nice fruity characteristics. So we melted those two things together because they are in that range where they start to break down a little bit. I added white wine, which enhances that acidity, makes things really loose and stretchy. A little bit of starch to keep things kind of mixed together. Let's see what's happening in here. I will give it a stir.
Oh, it's looking good.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
Can we get a close-up on that? Yeah.
It's still fluid here in our pot. There we go. All right. Are we going broccoli or bread here?
I always go bread.
May I
The
assist
broccoli's
you in
for
a
show.
fondue simply because we don't have any elegant forks at this time, guys.
We have to invest.
There we go.
Thank you so much.
I'm going to go with broccoli.
It smells so good.
Ah. I would really love to be sitting on the side of a hillside with you enjoying this, but I think you got to do some of that.
I did get to do
recently.
some of that. Corey, could you pull up that PowerPoint again?
That'll give
I
us
really
some
like
time
the
to
Hokey
chew.
Brig. I like the
Mm-hmm.
sweetness in there. Or the, like, I guess it's sort of apple-y. The cider punch.
I like that apples and onions combo.
Awesome. All right, so on the screen, I have a couple pictures. I was lucky enough a few months ago to go to a very special celebration in Switzerland. This is the Des Alpes in Lativa. It's also a picture of just some melted cheese that I ate there, just for your enjoyment. But this is a really beautiful festival that celebrates at the end of the summer, and it celebrates the cheesemakers, their families, and their cows that have lived for the summer on a really high altitude up in the Alps, making some of the delicious cheeses we enjoy over the winter months. The cows come down and they wear those really awesome party hats and flower crowns, and the whole town is there to drink and eat and celebrate. And we're going to use that to tee up a cautious celebration that we're having today.
Yes, a very cautious celebration. Ooh, what are we celebrating, Allie?
We are celebrating the reduction in Swiss tariffs.
Cheers.
Cheers.
That's going to go really nicely with that fondue.
We're going to have so much fun in a couple minutes.
Yes, so the tariffs are being reduced on Swiss products. We are not entirely sure when that's going to go into effect and what exactly it's going to mean for the levels, but rest assured that we are staying on top of that, and we are really looking forward to being able to communicate that with you once we know more. In the meantime, our regular Swiss air orders have resumed, as well as our regular boat orders. So if there are products that you are looking to bring back in, now is the time to talk to your rep about it. If you don't know who your rep is, reach out to info@forevercheese. Oh, and
Corey's reminding us.
if you are not a glutton for punishment, as I am, and you don't want to go through the effort of making your own fondue, as part of our pre-order program, we offer this really wonderful fondue that comes pre-made with everything in it ready to melt. So it's not like a goo in a bag. It's definitely grated cheese.
With some kirsch, some
wine. The starch is all there. So all you have to do is dump it in your
And
pot
mix.
and, apply some heat.
Yeah.
So it's a great option for you and your customers. You can also, I would definitely suggest creating bundle deals with some of the pairings that we've shown here today.
Like our Valencianos, that can be really great to dip into that fondue. They're long enough so you don't burn your hand.
These are, if you haven't seen these before, these are an olive oil cracker that's really crisp, but still tender. They make great dippers for something like a fondue.
Awesome. All right, we're going to pause here and see if there's any questions in the chat or anything anyone is wondering. No?
Feel free to think about it and drop it in. I'm going to take this moment
To sip.
to sip on this wine.
All right, well, if there isn't any questions in the chat, please feel free to reach out again at info@forevercheese or to your sales rep if you have questions or you would like samples of any of the products that we have.
And feel free to reach out to me and Allie directly if you have questions about melting or anything that we've covered here. We are always happy to melt with you.
In fact, we're honored to experiment with you. Corey, did you say there's a question?
One comment, Hokey Brig fondue for the win.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
I wish
you're in New
I
Jersey,
could
come
share
celebrate.
it with you through the screen, but I highly recommend it as an option.
Customers are always asking what cheddar for cheddar cheeses. Thoughts on aged cheddars? I'm afraid they'll get grainy.
For how they're going to behave when they melt? So cheddar by nature is a lot more acidic.
Mac and cheese.
Oh, for mac and cheese.
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of depends on what this customer, how they're going to make their mac and cheese.
Yeah, the base
If
sauce.
you're going to make like a bechamel or a Mornay sauce with cheese and like incorporate it in together, a cheddar can absolutely work. I think that you can really adjust to either a really mild young cheese or a sharper cheese, as if you're making a roux-based sauce and incorporating it that way. If you're going for like a classic, like original Hemmings mac and cheese that just uses an egg and the grated cheese itself, you would want to go for something that's not going to have that high acidity level because it's going to break.
Yeah, you're right. It is going to break and be a little grainy, and the oil's going to separate. Are we all set? All right. Thank you guys so much for joining us today and for giving us such a wonderful excuse to make this setup and eat all of this food.
An excuse to celebrate, to melt. We're going to be sharing this with our team here today, and I know that they're going to appreciate it all too. So It's been really fun, and let us know if you have any questions about any of these things, and if not, I hope that your melting adventures over this winter are satisfying,
smooth, and they don't break.
May your emulsions never break. Thanks,
Thank you
everybody.
all.